all chamber. These are good foreign sounding names.
As a political party, who are the best drinkers?
Who are the best party?
Fianna Fáilers, probably.
They like having it, do they?
Have they really changed the Fianna Fáilers as well, or is this whole, you know, the Galway tent closing it down and all the rest? Have they really changed, or are they exactly the same? Are they still in league with the banks and the developers and everybody else?
In a nutshell, yes. There is other ways of getting money from people than doing it so publicly as holding a large jamboree in a tent.
So they've just gone underground, is what you're saying?
Yeah, but they're all going on the Barack Obama route now of trying to tap people for small amounts of money.
That's a lot of tapping. How much did the pool here, for like Fianna Fáil side, pull in a year in donations and gifts and people supporting them and just wanting to help the party? Because why not? It's a lovely party.
Is there... Let me ask a question, mate. You'd know better than me, right? Because I read it's baffling, and often Irish politics is really dull. Is there enough talent in the whole of the Dáil to come up with one decent government?
If you combine them all together in some sort of...
If you roll them all together
like
a dream team, like Crosby, Stills and Nash and Young, super group of politicians, could we get one government?
Yeah, probably. You have to be quite imaginative.
Name them.
Yeah. Name them, okay.
Yeah, well, honestly, you know,
your
what
fantasy football doll team.
Yeah, what would exactly? Yeah, who would it be? Like, who would you have?
Well, we'll stay with the current man as the Taoiseach. So
really,
given that he has the support,
you know better than me.
Given that he has the support of all the people who backed him 6 months ago and are now saying he's completely rubbish at his job.
Right, so go on.
We'll leave him there. We'll put Richard Bruton in as Minister for Finance. I think Michael D. back as Minister for Foreign Affairs.
Michael D. Higgins?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Brilliant. I have a poem I want to say.
He sounds like Jackie Healy-Rae.
They all sound like Jackie Healy-Rae to me.
So who else?
The Jackie thing you raised, Jackie Healy-Rae as Minister for Transport.
All roads lead to Kerry.
And as Dustin the Turkey said years ago, have the dart to dingle, that could actually become a reality. Actually, that could potentially, in the new year, you'll have a curious situation where Mary Harney becomes an independent TD. So she no longer has a party to back her up and to justify her existence as a minister. So Brian Cowan has to appoint her as an independent TD as a minister. So then you have the other two independent TDs who are there going, well, how come we don't get a senior cabinet portfolio as well? So I would like to see if Jackie would put in his cap onto the table and say, I would also like a job in this regard.
Where would you put him? Foreign Affairs.
No, that would be fantastic.
Meeting Barack Obama would be hilarious. I hear you're an awfully man.
Like, is there any other talent?
Yeah, that's
Micheál Martin, surely.
People.
Micheál Martin,
Does he not look like
put him back as Minister for Health.
Okay.
Controversial.
To fix all the stuff
Is
that he messed up in the first place.
To fix what's happening in health? Because you heard Brian Dennehan coming out with talking about rationalisation a little bit, and that was slapped down so quickly. I've never seen there was screech marks on that U-turn.
Yeah.
It was pulled back so quickly. Can anybody actually deal with health? Do they actually have, I'm going to say it, the balls to do it? Because it does mean people have to lose their jobs.
Lear Roddy, Grania.
Lear Roddy. Thank you, Miss Murphy.
Well, you could, if Mary Harney can't fix the Department of Health, then you really do question who can. I mean, you know, she gets an awful lot of slagging, mainly.
She's brave, though.
She is brave, and she took it on at a time when nobody else wanted to take it on, and now she's still in the job effectively because nobody else wants to take it on.
She's stupid to do what she's done the other day by withdrawing that vaccine, because that seems to have upset so many people.
I think her difficulty is that you need to bring the public with you in terms of support overall for your entire reform package. If you're saying, look, you've got to put your faith in me, at the end of the 5-year cycle I will have reformed the health service, and if she keeps doing things like that cervical vaccine issue, which turned into a highly sensitive issue, and you know, when it happened a week ago, it really did flare up, and we thought in recent weeks, after the teachers did their march, after the farmers held all their meetings, and after all the senior citizens rioted on Kildare Street, didn't really think that it would get to that level again, and yet it has. But she hasn't helped herself by incidents like that. I think she's poorly serving herself.
Who's advising Mary
Harney? She has a large team of supporters or advisors around her. If you look at it this way, and I don't wish to have a go at the current incumbent, but Mary Harney spent nearly 10 years as the Taoiseach, and I never heard somebody saying in that time that she was out of her depth and that she couldn't handle the job, and I've heard that an awful lot over the last 6 months.
Yeah.
There was problems from the off in terms of when we set up the HSE, that this was going to be the new revolutionary way of running the health service. I don't think we got it right from the start. We didn't reduce any numbers whatsoever, and I think there were key appointments at the top. One can argue that perhaps what you need as the chief executive of the HSE is somebody with actual genuine managerial experience. I'm not saying necessarily in business, but I'm saying maybe in the public sector, maybe in the private sector. And I think we appointed somebody that is a highly skilled and a highly trained and experienced physician, but I'm not sure whether his managerial experience matches up to that.
Denon, thank you so much for coming in to talk to us tonight. That was absolutely brilliant and enlightening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, coming up in part 2, we discuss the largest drugs bust in the history of the state, and we talk to Jerry Anderson. We'll see you then.
How can you fall head over heels when your head is already over your heels? Cobra Beer sponsors the panel.
Will be joining us in just a few minutes, but first, bullying news. Scientists have proof that bullies actually get a neurological kick out of seeing others in pain.
Yeah, it is bad, but I am kind of a little bit guilty of this. Not bullying people, but just finding things that really shouldn't be funny, really, really funny. Like when somebody falls or falls off a bike or trips up a step or falls in a supermarket or in a carvery with a tray and it goes everywhere. It's just really funny. Do we have a clip?
You take my heart, maybe we can be together.
At what point did she think that was a good idea to stand on that table at her size?
And better again, at what point did you think that's a great idea? I'll put that on the net, because she did put that on the net herself, ladies and gentlemen.
It looks like someone on TV3, next up on You've Been Memed. Just...
Have any of you had a really embarrassing public fall?
No.
Have you?
Maybe I did in Tesco a few years ago. With half a pound of sausages in my hand.
Half a pound of sausage in your hand. Were you gently peeling them away from you? Were you?
No, it was that split second of I was putting all the stuff on the conveyor belt, diddy, you know, and then I went, oh, I forgot the sausages. So I was like, will I run back? Will I make it back on time? So I ran back to the fridge, got my sausages, ran through the fruit and veg section back to my till, and went flying and threw my sausages.
Through your sausages?
Well, in a kind of effort to save myself. I threw my sausages, which hit a man, slid down, and he just looked at them at his feet, looked at me, and went off with his trolley. And I was like, in a lot of pain, but so embarrassed.